Hey everyone, it's Cory, and before we get into this episode, I want to tell you about some cool things we have going on. The first one is, right now, we have a special episode available on our Patreon. It is our Season 5 finale with Kristen Davis. That's right, you heard it first. Here. Kristen Davis, Charlotte York. She talks for over an hour, and we're going to put that up on this podcast feed. But if you want to listen to it now, you can listen to it early on our Patreon. Go there, become a patron. There's a lot of other good episodes up, and we'll be putting more stuff up. But the Kristen Davis episode, the interview is up there, and it's great. She talks, like I said, for over an hour about her audition, about Sex and the City, about stories with castmates. It's great. The other thing that we have going on is it's March Bradness. We're putting up these March Bradness episodes about our tournament of the best Sex and the City boyfriends, and it gets crazy. The chance to play for prizes is over, but you can still follow along. So go to the episode notes, follow along, see who wins March Bradness, who's going to be the best Sex and the City boyfriend. Follow along in the episode notes and get yourself a bracket and play. And then also, we're doing watch parties on our Instagram twice a week. Go to the Instagram, and it'll be Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tune in on our Instagram, and we have some great live watch parties coming up. Dan Clay is going to do one with us, and we have some other really great guests. So check in there. We'd love to see you. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Bye.
You're now listening to The Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three relatively grown men binge the iconic HBO series Sex and the City. So dust off those DVDs and grab yourself a white wine or even a Cosmopolitan and settle in. Take it away, boys.
Welcome to the Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three guys watch their way through Sex and the City for the first time ever, mostly. I'm Cory Cavin.
I'm Kevin James Doyle.
My name is Jon Sieber.
And wow, we're back in New York.
We've been back in New York, but now it's like we're back together.
Yeah.
This is a reunion. This is like a reunion for us as much as it is for a weekly reunion for our listeners.
I feel great about it. It's been 3.5 weeks since we recorded our last episode.
I think so.
Right around there?
Whenever we were in LA last.
I missed you guys.
I know.
I missed you too.
It is weird when you feel like this is the only example I have of what it would be like to be married. To be like, I haven't seen my wife in a week. It was like I made it through, but also I feel like we have so much to catch up on. I've missed you.
Last time that we were together, you guys had two sofa beds that connected to make one giant sofa mattress that you guys shared.
That's true.
In LA, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
It was like camp.
We
It
slept.
was amazing.
We slept foot to foot. Yeah, it was great.
Um,
And also there was like kind of a top sheet. There were no blankets, but there was kind of a top sheet. And I slept in, I think the first night I slept in pajama pants, a long sleeve shirt, and a cardigan with a fitted sheet kind of cocooned over me, and my feet were tucked in. But no, then I think it went past my feet and it covered Kevin's feet.
You know what we should do? We should do a slight LA recap because we were in it. We were just drunkenly posting on Instagram. But
What's up, YouTube?
What's up, gosh.
but we haven't really talked about it since we've been back.
Yeah.
We can go through some of the highlights.
Well, first, I think we should announce our guests for the night.
Oh, yeah.
We have someone very special and near and dear to us.
So excited to be back in New York and have this guest.
It's a bag of food from the Japanese market.
Here's some. We have shrimp chips baked.
Colby shrimp chips.
We have Karamuchu rich cut hot chili potato chips. Pocky, Lottie koalas. Hello Pandas.
High chews.
Two things of high chews.
And
two
a
Coke Zeros.
stomach ache in about 25 minutes.
two Coke Zeros just to even things out. And we just ate a whole bunch of sushi. And as you probably know, it's cheat day.
It's funny for someone who, so I have eaten none of those things, although I like all of those things. Big shrimp chips guy.
Yeah.
Love the downstairs.
That was your nickname for a long time.
Everyone called me shrimp chip.
Shrimp chips guy.
I'd walk down 3rd Avenue and usually we would go like, "What up, shrimp chip?" That was what.
Oh, was that Shrimp Chip?
Oh, Shrimp Chip, nice new Adidas.
Shrimp Chip is here.
Shrimp Chip, you been working out?
That was what everyone would say to me all the
Shrimp
time.
chip, you looks like you cut out the shrimp chips.
Shrimp Chip, you looking like a trim chip.
That's what everyone would
Like
say.
a skinny girl tortilla chip.
But I haven't eaten any of those things. But watching you guys decimate them on your cheat days is fantastic. I didn't tell you this, but I did drink Graft cider on the way here from my apartment.
Grass cider?
Graft. It's
What's
like
that?
it's like a.
I thought you said something stuck in your teeth.
I got a Graft cider. I drank a Graft cider. It's like a what is it? Like a microbrewery cider.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
It's in a can that just. I had a great day. I went. I ran some errands. I went swimming, and then I had some food at home, and I was like, I'm gonna drink this cider that I bought the other
Shrimp
night.
Chip needs a slider.
Shrimp chip needs a slider. Shrimp chip needs a grass slider.
I have a
drank it
question
on the
for
way.
you. What constitutes a cider? Is a cider have to come from apples?
I don't think so. You can have a pear cider.
Oh, so
you got
sort
different
of-
ones. But this,
I don't know like what kind of.
I think it's the fermentation.
It's the
of fruit
fermentation.
rather than
Yeah.
So you could do a watermelon cider?
yeah.
Wow. What
Yeah.
about a tomato cider?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. It was good. It was really good.
I did not know that.
I didn't
know
either,
that.
and I just said yes to it. I'll figure it out later.
You're a yes man.
And you know what?
That was
But
your nickname.
when we're eating junk food and when we're off the rails, that means that our guest is
Just the boys.
That's right. It's just the three of us tonight.
JTB.
And a few things. One is we're watching second to last episode of season 5.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
That just, especially since we pounded out 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's everybody? Let's just go through since now they're out. We have a few more coming.
Right.
Who's our first one?
Our first one from season 5.
Yeah,
Oh gosh.
no, our guest in LA.
Oh, our guest in LA. Our first guest in Los Angeles
Mametown.
was
Mamrie.
Mamrie Hart.
Mamrie
Yep.
Hart,
Mametown.
killer.
Yeah, amazing. Her dog Beans Hart was sitting on the couch the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
God, the cutest dog.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Then we followed it up with
B Webs
yeah,
Webb's the
Ben
next
Weber.
day.
in a realtor's
Yep,
office.
in the back of a realtor's
We
office.
will always be closing with B Webs.
just inspirational quotes all around, just reminding us like,
yeah.
It was great.
yeah,
Then after that,
and great looking dude.
Ben
Oh,
Weber. He is I think
Cool,
someone
chill bro.
I think someone told me this, but they were like, "Wow, Skipper's a zaddy."
What's a zaddy?
You guys not know what a zaddy is?
It's like an internet.
It's like an internet thing for like a hot dad, like an older dad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fact check that to make sure that I'm right.
I think
but
I
I'm
think
pretty
Jonathan
right.
Valdez said that.
Did he?
I think
he did.
Shout out
Also-
to Valdez if you're out there.
Also,
Or
Kevin,
Juicy
I checked cider. You're totally right. You're totally right. It's a alcoholic drink made from fermented crushed fruit, typically apples. Now on to what's a zaddy, as you guys keep figuring out what else we did.
Hold on. I want to go circle back in the cider thing because you can have apple cider without
Yeah.
it being
Well,
alcoholic.
there's two kinds. It says it also says an unfermented drink made by crushing fruit, typically apples. And then the second definition says an alcoholic drink made from fermented crushed fruit, typically apples.
So what you're telling me is no one really knows what a cider is.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the
will.
difference between alcoholic cider and not. That's hard cider versus soft cider.
Yeah, soft cider isn't fermented.
Yeah. And everyone always refers to it as soft cider.
So is orange
Hey,
juice just orange cider?
Do you guys have any soft cider? Wait, is orange juice?
Just orange
No, there's a
cider?
process between apple juice and apple cider.
Yeah, I believe so.
I need to know what that process is.
Okay, I'll look that up.
Fire it up.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know what Urban Dictionary says a zaddy is?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guarantee you, if you're one of our listeners, raise your hand right now if you already know what it means. Because I guarantee you're all raising your hands. A fine, handsome, and sexy ass intelligent man that makes you smile and drip every time you see him.
Oh,
He knows how to handle business in and out of the bedroom. You low key want to have his baby. He makes all parts of you excited, including your mind. He smells good, looks good, and is good. This is not what I thought it was. I thought it
What
was
do you
like
think it was? That sounds like exactly
well, that
what you
is, but I
said.
thought it was like an
I thought you
actual
were
like
just
older
describing
gentleman.
Ben Weber.
I am describing Ben Weber. He makes me drip.
I'll say he was totally like a
gentleman.
TV person. Like on TV he's a nerd, and then in person you're like, oh yeah, there's no actually looking nerds. on TV.
Yeah,
like,
it's
he's a
just
good
like
looking dude.
cool looking dude.
Hey, here's another great definition for it. Zaddy. When you want the D so much, you have to replace it with a Z.
Oh, chili chip, shrimp
Good.
chip, man.
Urban Dictionary, your name, because this is mine.
Oh, yeah,
You
this
ready?
is amazing.
This is the definition of Kevin. Extremely hot, has a huge dick. Kevin likes a girl but can't express his feelings to her. Also a pussy licker.
Here's what Cory
That's
is.
what it says on
Here's the
Urban
top
Dictionary.
definition of Cory on Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
Cory is a man who is easy to fall in love with because of his humor and booming personality.
Wow.
His eyes are so dreamy. One look at them and you will be lost in them forever. Cory has a great personality, but can let anger get the better of him sometimes. True. He is extremely fun to be around and makes the best of any situation. He has a wild side, yet loves to be laid back. He is very attractive. Cory is truly amazing.
You know how
Cory is a man that any girl will be lucky to have.
Wow.
You know what's so
Fantastic
true
definition.
about that is that
I like how yours was like really overall a great guy and a friend you want. And then Kevin's like, is a pussy licker.
that's what I'm sorry. It's Urban Dictionary. Also,
So
I like in
funny.
yours that it says he loves to be laid back, which is totally you because you do love to be laid back, but you're not laid back.
No, I am not laid back.
It's even like I want to be laid back.
That's true.
but
go.
you're not.
I know that is very true.
John, short for Jonathan, meaning gift from God, also known as a sex god.
Wow.
Jonathan is a nice, well-respected person, and he gets what he wants. Cares for his girlfriend and his close friends. They're basically family. Jonathan also cares for his family so much. Also, a butthole licker.
Whoa.
No, I'm kidding. It doesn't say
it
that.
doesn't say that.
No.
What? Hey, let me try. Let me turn it around and turn it into Sex and the City.
Yeah, why don't we do these for all the girls?
Let's do these for the
I
girls.
went to Carrie.
Okay,
now.
I'll look up Samantha.
Urban
I'll do
Dictionary.
Charlotte.
Carrie. Now listen, this is Urban Dictionary. This isn't necessarily Sex in the City. But this is just what the first one says. Ready? Let's see if it applies to her. Carrie. She's an independent woman who's always willing to try new things. She's very open-minded and adventurous, very beautiful, but doesn't realize it, and probably won't believe you when you tell her. She's stubborn like that. Fun to hang out with, easy to get along with. She usually doesn't like conflict and tries her best to avoid it. However, she'll always be the first one willing to defend her friends and family under any circumstances. She's very protective of them. She's very choosy when it comes to who she chooses to be friends with, but she's extremely loving, fiercely loyal, and she finds to be those she finds worthy. Be grateful if you have a carrier in your life. You'll never find another like her.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
That's great.
That's
pretty good, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I think that's I guess that's dead on. The friends thing, I don't know if that's true or not.
She is fiercely loyal, though.
She is fiercely loyal. Yeah.
Is there like someone that
She kinda
does,
comes around on all that.
like Urban Dictionary tarot? Like is someone in Union Square like start that business yet?
It's a great idea.
You just sit there. Like, what's your name, Demetrius? Hold on, and then they just pull out Urban Dictionary and read them.
That's great.
Because I feel like all these are ambiguous enough where like
Yeah.
they all kind of make sense. Like
I'm feeling. Tell me if this resonates with you. Huge dick and a pussy licker.
what Kevin would be like.
Also, it's like, yeah, you have kids there. You're like with your kids. It's like, I didn't think this would be inappropriate. Please leave our table.
What's your name, buddy? Kevin. Let's check and see what your tarot is.
All right, do you have one?
Well, we were thinking.
We were thinking. So what I would love to do is do all the rest of the girls and their boyfriends in a bonus episode.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. A little Patreon tarot.
And well, you know what? Here's another thing we learned when we were in Los Angeles.
What's that?
We're starting a Patreon. We're giving
Round
people,
2.
We've already started one.
We already started it. There's like one person that has achieved, no, we're giving you that bonus content. We're going to try and turn this ship around and make some money off it, but only through giving you some hot, thick, with 2 C's content that you crave. We're going to do our best to earn your funds.
It's like a White Castle commercial.
Yeah. But we want to do more bonus episodes, and we want to start that. And that will be our first one. We'll just do a fun little urban. I feel like we were nervous about it at first, and now I feel like we would have so much fun with coming up with new
I
ideas.
think we really would.
And so,
Listen, your mother and I, we went to counseling a couple years ago, but to be honest, we both phoned it in. But now we're ready to go back.
We're ready.
dude,
Things are taking off. We're going to Disney World next
if
year.
it's based on that, it's like, this Patreon's got a week. No, but that sounds great. So we'll go through Urban Dictionary and we'll do like 10 characters.
Yeah, that's
It'll
what
be
I'm
fun.
thinking about. All right. So the episode we're watching today is season 5, episode, what is it, 7, 8?
It's
What are we on?
7.
And I had it up, but I lost it when I searched the Urban Dictionary name of
It's called
Jon.
The Big Journey.
The
Big Journey.
Journey.
Before we say anything, I wonder if Carrie's going to go to Napa. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We haven't read the episode description. It'd be crazy if she went to Napa and we came back to New York.
I guess it would be weird if he jumps back into her life back in New York. Also, they know what they're doing. They know they're like, it's on HBO, and they're like, oh, and they get everyone talking.
Yeah.
Like when they name an episode.
So I want to do 2 things actually before we watch the episode. I want to real quick finish the recap of our LA trip.
Oh,
We
yeah.
ended with Ben Weber, and then after Ben Weber, we had what I think was one of the most monumentous interviews that we've ever had.
Yep. It was with
Jen Kirkman.
Jen Kirkman.
It was
Friday night.
so great.
Oh my gosh! It was one of the. It was like some of the most fun I've had in a long time.
Yeah. And we knew it. We even knew it beforehand. We knew, like, we felt this energy, and we had a really cool studio. We were at our friend Justin Glasgow's studio, cool music studio in LA.
There was a bunch of Armenian people playing backgammon like
next door.
right
Smoking
next,
cigars next
yeah.
door. Yeah.
legitimately 5 feet away from us through a wall.
Yeah.
Playing back. It was just insane.
We recorded like around all these cool instruments, and then we all watched it together in this room. And it wasn't just us 3. It was like, it was a few of our other friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just,
It was just the way Sex and the City is meant to be consumed
it was.
in a recording studio. Next to a platinum record from
Twilight?
from
Yeah.
Twilight?
That was
Yeah.
in the bathroom at the
in the
studio.
back, and you're just crushing it. You know.
We had
And
such
it was
a fun
like,
episode. It was a fun episode watch.
Yeah.
It was great.
listen, all the guests out there, we have loved every single guest we've had, but I think Jen was the first guest that it was like, if you could snap your fingers, I'd be like, she's in.
Yeah.
She's in. She's like every episode.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
There was like a weird, great connection of like, we've talked to her, you know, over the airwaves, over like Twitter and stuff like that and Instagram. But there was kind of a thing where we met each other in person and we were like, hey, but you felt like you already knew each other.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we kind of just like got right in there
Yeah.
and completely it just like off to the races.
Yeah.
You know, the
It's
people
great.
that like, I mean, this is like almost every date now. It's like, you're hoping that the vibe, you're texting online, or if you're like a pen pal, you like meet someone and then you're like, oh my gosh, I have to meet them in person.
Are you talking about like legit pen pal?
You
Yeah, like
talking
back
about,
in the day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Back in the day, and then like,
Like you
I was like,
currently
are
have
you
pen pals?
with all your Bumble dates?
oh yeah, that's what I call. That's
You
what,
send them some stationery
that's when
and a couple
Kevin-
stamps. And
That's
you're
when
like,
Kevin.
let's do this.
That's when he was in lockup.
yeah.
He
You bust out your
pen pals.
Smetzels. Just make them smell the ink.
I will say, it must make so many,
No Smenzel fans.
so many. I love Smetzels.
I don't know what Smetzels are.
Really? pencils that
dude.
smell.
You want me
Oh.
to grab you one?
I know what they are.
Shout out to Rebecca Milosic who dropped off a bunch of Smenzels in our office somewhere here.
Go listen to Rebecca's episode,
Doesn't it?
the chicken dance.
But doesn't it blow your mind how many guys in jail get girlfriends?
Yeah, they get guys in jail get wives.
Yeah, they get awesome girlfriends.
Wild. Yeah.
Okay, but that was so sincere. They get awesome
Dude, if you ever
Awesome
write a book, can it just be titled "Guys in Jail
Get awesome
girlfriends"?
Yeah, it's already written. It's
Oh
sold.
man,
But no, we just had the most intense, best energy with Jen. It was
That's great.
so fun. The convo was great.
We
It
had
was
BJE,
challenging.
Big Gen energy.
Big
Yeah.
Jen energy.
It was great.
So fun.
Loved it. Yeah, that was a really really fun night. It was awesome.
yeah.
and
And
then
bright and early the next day, we did. We drove up and we interviewed every outfit. The
Yep.
two ladies.
Chelsea and Lauren from Every Outfit on
Oh,
Sex and
man.
the City up in the Hollywood Hills. It was
that
it was amazing.
insane.
That was-
They were so generous. They had a beautiful
Oh.
bagel platter
Yeah,
for
she had a
us.
full
We had
bagel
some
spread
LaCroix.
for us.
Yeah, we were
LaCroix.
just crushing some LaCroix in their house.
It was great.
Yeah.
really cool toilet.
Oh, she had an amazing Japanese toilet. Can we say that?
I don't know.
To be fair, she said it was in the house before
Yeah.
she moved in there.
It was
and-
it was
and,
it was a wonderful. It was just a wonderful house.
it was a wonderful house. Yeah. I've been to Japan before and I love their toilets. That's all I'll say.
It was it was so fun, and it was the best spread and beautiful backyard. It was
Yeah.
just like a magical
Great company.
LA morning.
It was a fantastic LA morning. It makes me that's what you imagine if you live in LA, but your reality is really just like living off of some dusty boulevard.
Yeah, your reality is connecting two pull-out beds from couches and sharing one medium-length blanket.
Touching feet to your best friend. Like I read some Kurt Vonnegut book last year where that's how they had sex, is they would push their feet together and they would worship this guy named Bacchanon. It's in Cat's Cradle. Oh. Kevin and I had Bacchanon sex.
Yeah.
If anyone, shout out to any
Vonnegut heads out there.
I bet we got some.
I think it's great. So Cory and I fucked all the time in LA, but it was Vonnegut sex.
And then we wrapped up with last Corny Peroso.
Corny
Doyle
Peroso.
motherfucking ravioli.
Which was just an absolute treat to hang out with her.
If you live anywhere where Courtney Peroso is coming to do a show, it's coming to do her show Gutter Plum, go see her show.
Stop what you're doing. Turn off the podcast.
Get on Google.
Throw your phone away.
Gutter Plum.
Yeah, and just buy tickets.
Go. It was so good.
You have to.
Yeah, and that was and then that night we had our live show.
Yeah.
We hung out with
Amy and Gwynedd, who do Sex and the City Trivia LA,
and they were such magical people. So fun.
Yep.
It was a fun trip. So many cool people came out to the show. Shout out to I forget their name. Sorry. But there's some people that won prizes. I know their Instagram names, but I feel weird. But shout out to everyone that came out.
Yeah, shout out to everyone that came out. Had some old New York friends that came out. Club TG.
Yeah.
Great place.
Yeah, it was awesome. So thank you for making that trip. And the final update that we have is now we're like basically good friends with Kristen Davis. Mm-hmm. So she was like, did I miss you in LA? Which I feel like means like, hey, if you would have been out here, we would talk. So LA part 2 is going to happen.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
So, but for now, let's finish up season 5.
Yeah. So let's dive in. I know this was a little bit of a longer recap than normal, but a lot's happened in our lives and we want to recap it with you all.
Yeah. We want to recap it with you.
Just the boys are back in town.
That's right. We're back.
We're back.
Let's dive in. We're going to watch season 5, episode 7, The Big Journey.
The Big Journey.
Episode 73. The Big Journey. Carrie goes to San Francisco to promote her book and visit Big. Charlotte sleeps with her unappealing divorce lawyer, Harry Goldenblatt. Samantha accompanies Carrie to California looking for a good time. And now, back to the boys.
Welcome back.
We're back.
Trouble. What is that? Taylor Swift song?
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Why are you singing it?
It's Big Trouble.
Oh,
no.
Big Journey, dude.
It's called The Big Journey.
I don't know.
It was more
Sing
like
a Journey song instead.
It's more like
Don't stop the training.
That's Journey.
Don't stop Big Leaving.
Big Trouble would be one of the early movies that Kim Cattrall was on.
In Little China.
That's right.
Oh. Well, we got another bottle episode.
It wasn't technically a bottle episode. A bottle episode happens in one location.
Oh, okay. Well, it's another not
out of New York episode.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
Hey, Kevin, I'd really like you to learn your bottle analogies a little bit better.
a biggle.
A biggle
A biggle episode.
A biggle
It's a
episode.
biggle episode. It was it just takes them. They just go straight to hijinks, but
Get on
then
the
they found the rhythm.
It was
Once
the Pete. It was the. Oh, never mind. Now I screwed. I was gonna say it was the Pete Yorn episode, but that's Life on a Chain, not Life on a Train.
Oh man,
It was the Drops of Jupiter episode by Train.
by train. It was. It was. Oh, they did make a Murder on the Orient Express joke.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
like,
here I'm coming at you with a recap.
John, come at us
There's
with this
really
recap.
not a lot to recap in this episode.
Yeah.
It's pretty linear. The only storylines are really Carrie and Charlotte. Like literally, Miranda was a phone call, and I mean the thread of this whole show was: are we the new bachelors? Like are the ladies the new bachelors? And so they all are going through their bachelor moments. Kind of a throwback to the role reversal with the first pilot episode, like having sex like men. Carrie goes out to visit Big, and she just like really wants to have sex with him, and he is kind of acting like your stereotypical woman, I guess, who's has a book, is thinking about it too much, and Carrie's like just trying to get laid. let's see. Samantha was just kind of there for the ride. She didn't really do anything bachelor-y. Miranda was only in it for one like chat and chew and one phone call, in which I guess her bachelor behavior was she was drinking Coors Light, like watching the eating takeout.
She wasn't.
What was she drinking?
Sam Adams.
Oh, sorry. and then Charlotte, of course, goes to the bachelor pad because she's going to sell her house, and then ends up having sex with Harry. Greenblatt. After some advice from Mario Cantone. What's his character's name? Do we know? That's embarrassing. People are screaming in their cars right now.
People right now, people feel like they're just stuck behind a wall being like, his name is... Okay,
Yeah,
I'll look
but-
it up.
Hey. And
We're really
by the
sorry.
time you message us on his name on Instagram, we've already looked it up. Okay? Put your phone away and enjoy the podcast. That's
but-
part of the joy of watching it as we watch it. Okay? We'll find it out.
His name is Anthony Maritino. Anthony Maritino.
So Charlotte goes out with drinks with Anthony. They go to a go-go bar, and Anthony's like, just go get laid. Just go have ugly sex with Harry. It's great. So she kind of establishes the rules of their hookup relationship. And then that's basically it. Carrie and Big don't hook up, and then the next morning they do hook up, and then they come home.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't normally say this. Pathetic recap. Really? No mention of Mr. Winkle?
I'm sorry.
Like, what are you even doing, man? It's like
messed up.
Mr. Winkle's right there the whole time, and like no mention. Wow.
Mr. Winkle's in this episode.
Mr. Winkle. And he's kind of there just as a foil for her, you know, in this moment. What is it like to be a writer when you have book fame? Like they have that whole scene where he has on the cute top.
And he just sits there beside her.
Yeah.
I
think
met
Mr. Winkle-
an internet celebrity
Dog.
animal.
So did I.
Who'd you meet?
I met two. I met Jif Palm, the dog, who is a little... what kind of dog is Jif Palm? And then I also met Grumpy Cat.
Dog, I met Grumpy Cat too.
That's right. We met Grumpy Cat. I think we met Grumpy Cat on the same press tour.
Yeah.
Around, but at different times.
It was crazy.
Grumpy Cat came to my office, and this was when I worked
So
for.
you mean Grumpy Cat visited you?
Grumpy Cat visited me.
See, I went to visit Grumpy Cat, but Grumpy Cat visited you?
This was the same. This was the same office.
Chili chip or shrimp chip, dude.
Dude, Shrimp Chip lived a wild life. Shrimp Chip was a bad dude.
and Trip Chip ran with some bad cats.
Dude, that office that I worked in, they brought Grumpy Cat around for Christmas, and they would let us take selfies for our Christmas cards. At Halloween, they literally hired temps and had them show up dressed like zombies and had them go around the office, and they handed out Nerf guns and let us hunt the zombies
What?
at Halloween.
I thought they were
It's
gonna
like a
say
fun
you
office
have you
thing.
Hunt Grumpy Cat, and I was like, that's not the Grumpy Cat I met because he had like body.
Oh, yeah.
Grumpy Cat's a female, right?
There was a handler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Grumpy Cat had bodyguards and press kit, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
Real deal though. That cat.
Real deal.
Rest in peace.
Grumpy Cat died, right?
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Well,
Grumpy Cat died about a year ago.
I actually think, and this is just one man's perspective, so I do not need the internet getting upset with me. I think they were drugging Grumpy Cat. Did you get that vibe too? Grumpy Cat was like
Kinda.
heavily sedated, and maybe that was just the type of cat that she was. Maybe she was just really old, but she like couldn't even keep her eyes open. I don't know. I was
when
like,
I was
I was a
there.
little uncomfortable.
When I was there, she just looked like Grumpy Cat, but I was under the impression that Grumpy Cat kind of had like a condition, and that's why Grumpy Cat kind of looked the way that they did.
way, that's
Like it's
sad.
like they're not a condition, but it's like a certain thing where like Grumpy Cat's face was that way, you know, and so it was like always kind of a chill looking cat, but just like a weird looking cat that was just kind of docile.
She went outside in January and didn't have a coat. That was a condition. She was cold.
it was pretty wild
cat.
when Mr. Winkle was on, when they were like, when they mentioned that like famous from the internet, they were like, man, you don't realize how real that's about to get.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
pre Grumpy Cat. That's pre all that stuff.
Like
and
I don't
it's
think
just
Reddit was invented back then.
yeah. And now it's
a
like
cat
that is
the internet is for cats.
yeah.
and dogs.
It's a whole entire like cottage industry.
Yeah.
That there's like Mr. Winkles at the top, and then there's like, you know, there's people with entire Mamrie's
Yeah, beans. Beans art. Yeah, or I say Beans. That's Beans' Instagram. Yeah, Beans, Mamrie's dog. Has a huge Instagram following.
Yeah, that's wild. And the people, there's there's other dogs and cats and stuff, but there's not just like one or two. That's like a whole area of the internet. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
All right, which should we tackle first? I feel like we should save Charlotte Greenblatt for last.
Sure. I mean, there's some things that I wrote down that I'd love to talk about. First of all, I would love to, we'll talk about Charlotte and Harry in the end, but I have a lot of thoughts on Harry. I've never felt more seen than when Harry was sweating on the document.
Wow.
I was like, that's for me. That's a special little something for me, especially in New York in the summer. I do a lot of dripping on things. Let's start with
Came through dripping.
Drip.
Came through dripping.
like,
Drip. Dude, we have to, let's overlay that scene with Cardi B.
Came through dripping. Drip. Came through dripping. Drip.
what
Haragram Black Beat dripping.
So I want to talk about the train. Just this whole idea of did she take a train when she went to LA? Was this seems very new to me. And you brought up something, Kevin, that this is like post
9/11.
Do you think they use it to be like
There must have been a massive, like a true sense that we will not ever be able to get again. That is just like I'm not flying ever again.
Do you think America Airlines paid for some of this episode to show like, hey, trains across the country is a horrible idea?
And then at the end, it's fly first
class,
and
what's
American
it called?
Airlines, value or something like that.
Yeah,
and value.
I don't know what that means, but
you get a free drink or something.
Like
that was all. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll get back to this, but that is one odd thing of this show where maybe it's just like whatever classes they're in. I've never had a friend just be like, "Nah, man, we're not doing that. First class tickets." It's like no one ever does that.
Well, I'm always suspect. I love HBO. I do still think, even at this point, it's the best like for your money. Best if you had to go with one streaming service, I think like on the long haul, if you could get rid of everything,
Twonky, that's what you go with.
then I'm going with
Crunchyroll.
I was gonna say Crunchyroll. I couldn't get to it quick enough.
Oh, Crunchyroll. Anyway,
no, I'm doing okay. We're just joking. I would go with Angel Tube. All Christian content.
Is that what the?
Oh yeah, Angel Tube's a real thing, dude. So, but I think you go HBO. But the one thing that is difficult for me with HBO is not with other things, because I guess it's so obvious if you're watching. It's like cut to a commercial and it's like use Prilosec, but it always perks up. I'm like, are you fucking me right now? If they're like, ooh, I'll have a Coke. I'm like, what about you fucking me right now?
What about the Big Red scene?
Oh yeah, Big
I know.
Red.
I mean, and it was like
Starbucks. They made a Starbucks reference.
They made
Samantha, of course, was like more like Starbucks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what's that? That's when Howard Schultz comes in your coffee. I will say this about Big Red: it has sugar in it. Beware. Yeah, most gums don't. Big Red.
You know,
we're in a big Trident kick in this office right now.
You know you know the Big Red challenge. It's either the wrapper or the piece of gum, but you lick it and then I think it's the wrapper.
It burns your forehead.
You stick it to your forehead and you're like, yeah, whatever. This is, and like 15 seconds in, your forehead's like on fire.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's kind of like a cinnamon challenge kind of thing.
It was a big thing to do in high school because it's like every single time it works the same. It's just like
I'm doing it.
Yeah, right. How gum's not gonna hurt me?
Literally me right now. I'm not worried about it. Find me some Big Red, I'll do it.
Oh man, the cinnamon challenge. Just like get a bunch of idiot high schoolers to choke to death, like on being like cinnamon can't be that bad.
There is a cinnamon challenge video of just a middle-aged woman, and it gets me every time. She is like, oh, this is easy, and she does it, and she inhales when she puts it in her mouth, and it is just like watching a brown dust explosion out of her face. It's the funniest thing ever.
I don't totally think this, but I kind of think it that whenever the time.
I love when you start a conversation.
I'm just prefacing it with it's like I
don't mean to be offensive, but
no, I can back off this cliff. But there was a thing at a certain point with the Tide Pod controversy,
right?
When people are like, this generation is eating Tide Pods. They're so stupid. We were so smart. I was like, everyone was that stupid. Maybe you're just making fucking detergent look too good now.
Yeah.
Like fucking have it look like detergent.
Yeah.
That's true. You guys were dying in drag races on Dead Man's Curve. We're not doing that anymore.
No one's racing for
Yeah,
pinks anymore, you
literally
idiot.
wouldn't fly unless there were ashtrays in your seat. Like, you're gonna be fine.
What about having an entire smoking company have someone who's more famous than Mickey Mouse? You think that was a good fucking idea?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that one. I'm right there with you.
Okay, Patreon Tide Pod Challenge. Let's do it. Okay, so Big Red, we don't know if I don't know if Big Red has enough money to pay for HBO to slip their product in. I feel like they're hanging on by dear
I mean, so how does that work? Like, they obviously wanted to go with the big tie-in. Does Big Red approach Sex and the City and they're like, hey,
wouldn't you know more about this?
How does
Corey
this
works
work?
in TV.
How does that end up on there?
A lot of, I've never worked in that side of TV, but usually you have, that would be like branded content these days. So a company comes to your media company. I've seen it happen like at jobs and
So Howard Schultz is just like, we want this new product where I come in people's coffee.
Exactly.
How do we get it off?
Here's the thing. I do this around the office all the time. We're trying to make it a thing at all of our branches.
It seems like it'd be perfect for Samantha to chat about.
Couldn't you use the name that
Can
I call it?
Can I run something by you? It's Starfucks. It is Starfucks. We figured that, Howard.
That's it. That was it.
That was my pitch.
All right.
But no, I think like someone comes to your branded
In your coffee. No, Howard Schultz. Not just someone. It's
not
Howard
just someone,
Schultz.
It's Howard Schultz. He does.
It's specifically Howard Schultz. Comes.
Every pitch, no matter what brand it is, it's Howard Schultz just talking about jerking off on it.
That's how all branded content happens. Howard
You
Schultz.
want Big Red in your show? Let me just jerk off on the Big Red, and you can have it.
That's why Big choked on it. Oh God! There's millionaire semen on this gum.
Is this scene still going to play if we cut out the part where he says, "Oh, it says Howard Schultz semen on it"? No, it won't make total sense.
It'll make sense. It won't make total sense, but they'll think Carrie leaned in too hard for the kiss. Anyway, that's how branded content works.
We should, next time we're like at a party and they're like, "So what's your podcast?" I was like, "We've had SJP on." I'd be like, "Listen to it." And they're like, "Yeah, you also have this long extended bit where you talk about Howard Schultz coming on everything."
I often think about people that tune in for one episode and then they get to something like this and they're like, oh man, why?
Well, hey, if you think that's weird, watch the episode. We're just reporting what was on the episode. It was clearly
literally from the Sex and the City show. So it's
sorry,
fine.
we know how to read between the lines.
How many times do you think a mom is listening to this, like, or dad, in a carpool, and this is just on with kids in car seats?
I know. I hope more than I think.
My favorite thought is that there's a small possibility that someone is at a Starbucks drive-through right now.
Yes.
And they're just thinking about Howard Schultz wearing a green apron in the back of the store, just sitting there.
And he doesn't
coffee.
listen. You have to order it.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it. And the reason why it started is because someone ordered it.
He came down from corporate, put on a green apron, sweating like Harry Greenblatt.
Bling, Howard? Hey, we have a Starfuck order. We need you in Dakota, Washington.
I'm in a meeting with shareholders. Hey guys, we're gonna have to table this. I gotta go.
I guarantee Howard Schultz is not on this
Wait,
Slack.
Mr. Schultz, before you go, here's your jugs.
Alrighty.
Oh man.
Oh, my
Okay.
goodness.
All right, what
Bits.
let's
Wrap it up. That's it.
Let's get in.
All right,
let's
great
get into
episode.
something.
Oh. All right. Yeah, the train was just an awful idea. Like, what?
Was that just to shoehorn in an an Orient Express thing, or was it just?
I think this is what.
They weren't on Amtrak. They didn't say Amtrak.
Yeah,
right?
I know bottle episodes aren't this, but it's like they're weird like adventure episodes.
Yeah, and you're right in that. Where I think that sorry to cut you off, but like
It's fine. I'm kidding.
the point of a bottle episode is to save money. That's why they were originally invented.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a thing where they're like, which I guess they don't save a ton of money, but it's like they end up being able to set most of the episode inside this train car thing.
Yeah.
So they're not out like doing tons of exteriors and stuff like that. It makes it a pretty contained episode.
Can you
So
give us
maybe-
like an example of like a famous bottle episode? Are there any,
Yes.
pop in your
Breaking
mind?
Bad, The Fly.
Breaking Bad the
Never
Fly is one. Community would always do. There's a really interesting Community where they're stuck in the library and they make reference of it being a bottle episode multiple times. But there's one that I'll look up that's like one of the most famous ones. It's not Cheers. Almost all Cheers episodes are kind of bottle episodes.
Are there a
But
few
the
like
Fly-
MASH ones maybe?
Maybe, yeah. The Breaking Bad one is totally one. Yeah. And like Walt's pretty much the only
You know,
character. in it.
96 million people watched the MASH finale.
I remember my mom
I
coming
think it was
home.
more than that.
Oh, really?
I literally just heard someone talk. I think it was like 120 million.
I mean,
Crazy.
What's the difference? I love when you're talking about millions. It's just like this. It's the same number.
what's
to
the
me.
difference?
Yeah.
Only like 5 people watch anything now. But yeah, I mean, it's like, especially when they had 26 episode seasons, it's like, all right, we can't have everyone all over the place. Man, Miranda got fucked in this episode. Actually,
Yeah.
correction, Charlotte got fucked in this
Yeah.
episode. But
Just nothing out of Miranda.
Not
It's
even
such a
an
bummer.
attempt.
Yeah, no.
not even a like,
Yeah.
like Steve sitting there. I mean, I guess then you'd have to pay for that too. But it's like Steve and the baby are sitting there being like, we can't go on the trip. It was crazy.
And they interrupted her conversation. Carrie called her while she was on the train and to complain about the train, even though it was her idea. And they interrupted it because Samantha really wanted to go to that bachelor party. Which,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't imagine a world in which Samantha would just pack up and ride with her friend on a train for 4 days across the country just to get kicked out of the bathtub.
She's a good friend, but she's not. She's not an idiot with her time. And you'd know that it's not going to be like fucking on the train. There was just. Listen, I even said during it, I was like, I love the show. So it's like I'm not anti this episode or anything, but it's like when it's good, and when it's not even that it's not great. It's like some of the logic there made no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So this episode's a perfect example.
I
Sorry,
did.
go ahead.
I loved the chat and shoot at the beginning. I think we should talk about the chat and shoot because that was actually a pretty solid one.
It was.
And
yeah.
there's still parts of this episode that were really great. Like the stuff with Charlotte and Harry was awesome. The stuff with Mario Gantone was great. Like,
Yeah.
this had a lot of ugly sex is hot. Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Like that is super important quote from the show. And so there were parts of this episode that were really good, but overall the main story just felt like a little bit off.
Yeah. Let's talk about. Go ahead.
Famous bottle episodes, real quick.
Yep.
The Fly, Breaking Bad, Pine Barrens, Sopranos.
yes.
Directed by Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. It's
And-
season 3, I believe.
And it's is it all outside in the Pine Barrens? It's all in the
Them
woods.
with the dead guy.
Okay.
And it's like full on comedy.
Okay.
So good.
Teddy Perkins, the Atlanta episode where
Mm-hmm.
Lakeith Stanfield goes in the house and there's the weird dude.
You'd love that episode.
You would love that episode, John. And
I
then
haven't seen any of these things.
the girls episode called American Bitch that is when it's Matthew Rees and she goes to that dude's apartment and she's like written an
The old
article.
guy.
No, it's the guy.
writer?
The writer. Who,
Yeah.
who she's like written the article where he's like, it's like a Me Too kind of
then he's a
situation
creep at the
thing.
end.
Yep. Yeah, that one. That's
That
a
was
bottle
good one, too.
episode.
And then all the girls are walking out of the apartments at the end.
It's a really good episode. And then The Suitcase by Mad Men, where Don and Peggy are in his office all night, like doing a pitch.
You know what's funny? It's like I don't think I watch that much TV, and I've seen every episode of all of those shows.
Anyway, okay.
all really
So
good.
We're unpacking all these great conversations in this episode of this show that we just watched.
I guess let's get into why and to take it seriously. All right? Because this is a serious podcast.
This is serious.
But it's like, it seems to me, I'm trying to get inside the mind of the writers and the creators. Is it like, listen, we can't go a full season without Big. We know that he is part of the arc we're doing.
Yeah.
We got to bring him back in. Because if that was a problem, Carrie Bradshaw can get laid
Yeah.
in New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, one little pimple's not going to stop
no.
Carrie Bradshaw from getting laid.
And either Samantha or Miranda said that. I think Miranda said that. She was like, if getting laid is your problem, there's a whole table of guys across from us at dinner in New York.
But getting laid, there's a difference between getting laid and getting laid by a specific person.
Chris
That's
Noth.
true.
You know what I mean? Especially if she's like 3 dudes in a row that are just like, ooh, that it's like no connection. Then you're like, I need this. I need that big red.
Yeah.
I need that.
I need those big red lips.
I need those big red lips.
I need that Howard Schultz
Oh, jeez.
cappuccino.
Yeah.
I did like the like trope at the end when she was just wanted sex, and he like kept on opening the book. Be like, it says right here on page 29 and like page like 33. Do you think that like Big would have really read that and really been moved by that?
100%.
I do feel like it shows an interesting part of him where he's very neurotic. And you can see that he's neurotic. Like it shows up in other things. Even like with Jazz Guy, when he just kept calling her back. Like that was a playful thing.
Jasmine.
But
I can get a hold of her, or she can get a hold of me, but
I can get a hold of her. Like he
very
neurotic
on things.
Yeah, completely.
And I think that the second someone's not in your life, it's like, I'm sad. We had like imagine he's a month in and he's getting used to new things. And it's like, and then you're just like, like there's sometimes you even fantasize about people you didn't even have a decent connection with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you're like, that was actually pretty great. And it's like, no, it wasn't. So imagine what it's like with someone that is your one of your soulmates.
Is your Big.
Is
Or
your
your
Big.
Carrie. Yeah.
Or your Carrie. So I definitely think it's true what he said. He walked past, he saw it, and he's like, I want to see what's in there. And then the second you realize you're the main character, you're like tearing through that stuff. And I also don't necessarily think that I think they had to make it realistic, but I'm sure he read a few of her columns and was like annoyed. But I feel like it's the absence and the distance that probably made him be like, holy crap, did I mess this thing up?
Yeah.
Also, I just always fixate on it. But he's so apologetic. Like, I didn't realize how much I hurt. I didn't realize how much. But I'm like, just one line where it's like, I hurt you too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he hurt her, but kind of like, I don't know. He was distant. I don't know.
She was also an untamed horse.
Yeah.
That's true.
Wild stallion. My question for you about this book thing is, say you dated someone that was an author and they were journaling about your relationship.
Yeah.
Would you want them to write a book about it? Would you be interested in reading a book in which you were the secondary character? Or do you think that's like one of those things better left unread?
I mean, my ex-fiance is like a big part of the thing I have coming out.
That's true.
And she saw it.
How'd she feel? Was there any trepidation from her about being included in that? Did it have did she have conversations similar to like what Carrie and Big had? And then how would you feel if she wrote a book about you and like pointed out the things in your life where you maybe like have hurt her?
I don't know. I feel like the way anyone treats anyone, there's certain things you wouldn't want out there. I wonder, it would be really interesting to read Carrie's book and know what she says about him. And I guess it is nice that she keeps it private, you know?
Is her monologue throughout this show supposed to be her column?
The column?
Yeah.
We talked, okay.
Yeah.
I think
So
it
we
is.
kind of
Yeah.
know what she says about
Yeah.
it.
So I don't know. I mean, I think I feel like if you're representing something truthfully, and I don't know, like I wouldn't have asked permission necessarily, but I wouldn't have wanted, like, I don't know. It's still
But you also had, before you used
my
her,
life
like
too.
you changed her name before she gave you permission. No, you just went straight into it.
yeah.
We talked about changing names.
But I always forgot to change the name.
Oh, you'd always slip.
But we've talked about it at this point, and it's cool. And it's also, we talked about it before I filmed it.
Yeah.
But she texted me after I did it. This is a stand-up show that I did and she saw it because there was a recording of it that I had to use like for submissions and stuff. And one of our friends sent it to her because she heard about it and she wanted to see it. And I was over in Edinburgh doing it, and I just got a text from her that just said, "Hey, I saw the show," and I was like, and she was like, "That was really nice. You went easy on me." And then we went back on a few things. She's like, "You could have put that in the show that makes you look like more of an asshole." And I was like, and like we went back and forth, and it was fine.
Yeah. That's
But I was super nervous before.
Yeah.
Because I did think I would have to be like, I don't know what to tell you. Like I could,
Right.
change your name or I could do this, but like I'm not going to not do that.
Yeah.
But I also knew that I did try and be fair, and I do feel like it was a thing. But it is weird when you like. I think it'd be super weird to be big. It'd be interesting if you had a few gripes. That could have been an interesting scene. Being like, I liked the scene, but that could have been very interesting. It's like, you said that. That's not true. And she's like, it's writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I would have just loved to be in Zoomies in the mall and just see Big walking by and peeking his head into a bookstore and picking up that book.
What's Zoomies?
Zoomies is like a skate shop.
Yeah. Or just like, Spencer's Gifts. Just looking at cardboard babies with Trey, and all of a sudden we see just Big walking by a bookstore. It would be so.
It'd be so
Could you
funny.
imagine seeing that?
If you just then you stop him, you're like, what's in that bag? And he's like, what, this bag? And then you look in, and it's just a bunch of like fake boner pills from Spencer's Gifts. He's like, it's gag gifts for the new wine company.
I want to make sure.
and a black
I want to
light.
make sure that we have time to talk about Charlotte and Harry.
Okay.
And
When Charlotte met Harry.
yeah, we have like 5 to 8 minutes left, so I want to make sure we give that enough time. Is there anything else we want to talk about, Big and Carrie? Because it was kind of like
I
good reunion.
Yeah, I thought it was a good reunion. I enjoyed the even if it was a little played for comedy, the other side of depth that they showed of him being neurotic and her just being like, it's just sex. I do think Carrie was kind of a bad friend to Samantha, just like kicking her out and be like, shoo, shoo, shoo. And I think Carrie freaked out about her pimple way too much. That was ridiculous. But I don't know. I thought that was good. And I also think in the thing of what you were saying to Kevin, like, it's tough when you're just like naming people out by names, like the way Carrie was. I don't mean that for your thing, but I mean like the way Carrie was. But I also feel like, I don't know if it's necessarily your place to tell people what they can or can't do as long as you're fair too. And I think Carrie was probably doing that. And he knew she was doing it the whole time.
Yeah.
You know? So
Because he was reading her columns.
yeah, exactly.
I also think, Mario Cantone. Oh, wait.
Antonio Martino.
Who's the other? Oh, we want to talk about Harry and Mario Cantone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Harry.
Yeah. Harry.
All right. So Harry Greenblatt.
Just, what are your thoughts? What are our thoughts?
What are your thoughts? You said you've never been more seen. I want to hear about this.
Well, just because New York is just so like just with the sweating stuff. Like New York is so hot and so sweaty, and I don't have as hairy of a back as Harry.
Real or fake? We can look it up right now.
It's got to be fake.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right.
Seems like it's played so hard.
But New York gets so it gets so hot.
It
And
does.
If you're like out walking, there's times where if you walk like 10 blocks, you're just a dripping mess.
And not just you.
Everyone.
Every single person.
And like there's just times where I'm like, I'll be reading a book, I'll be in like a client's house, and I'm just like dripping with sweat. And I really like we've never seen that side of New York before. And that's like an actual real thing. 10 blocks will make you look like that.
Yeah.
I love the summer heat. And since I've moved to New York, I can't stand it. But I like it in other places. I like that it's like scorching hot. But here it's just terrible. You can never really get away from it.
Yeah. And then you go down in the subway and it's even hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best is when you walk by like a fancy hotel and there's just a blast of cold air. And you're just like,
And you're like, yeah, you can't even, you're not even turning a profit on this hotel because it's
know.
all going to air conditioning.
Yeah.
Well, I love. Okay, so the second he became her lawyer, I knew we were in for something because it's like everyone's always warning us, like just wait. So we knew who he was. I think it'd be really exciting to imagine them start to cast this, you know, because you come up with the idea and then it's like you're looking through all New York City's actors.
Yeah.
And I do feel like they nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
And I do, from the second he was on the episode, there is a charm to him that he does seem like a person that I believe exactly what they're doing with the storyline. That it's like he has something about him that she's like, I've been with the perfect looking guy. I love this guy who's just like going after it.
Yeah.
But I also like that she was like, but I can't stand him.
Yeah.
'Cause that's like a thing that drives people crazy in real relationships where it's like, this person freaking gets on my nerves, but I like can't get away from them. Then they realize they're just like, oh, I really like this person. It's driving me
My
crazy.
question about Harry is, do you think he's like, is she being fair to him? Or is like, it seems like she's particularly revolted by him. And he like doesn't seem.
It's anti-bald bias. It's all over our culture. It is. But he's not a handsome bald guy though.
I think he's like, I think he's
handsome. He needs to look like a baby. He needs to grow a beard.
He is, but he's not TV handsome. I'm sure there's a lot of people that think he's handsome, but I can understand how someone like Charlotte would just be like, this is not what I thought
Right.
I was getting into.
Right.
But he's the perfect TV casting of just being like
shot right there. That's
I think he's great. I
pretty
like
TV handsome, that headshot.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
So far, and I think most fans of Sex and the City like really enjoy like
Well,
him.
and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's like he's ugly. It is realistic that someone like that could easily be written off by someone like specifically Charlotte. I feel like once they have the chat and shit, they're going to be like, I guarantee you a few of the others will be like, he is sexy.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but let's mark it down.
That's
they're
why
like,
I
he is
wonder-
sexy. And she'll be like, no, he's not. They're like, you're having the best sex of your life. And he's a good looking guy. And it's just what she didn't expect to be.
That's why I wonder if the
good-looking.
back hair is fake. I wonder if they put that in to be like, because also I do feel like if the back hair is a choice. I feel like if that back hair is real, they could have shaved it down or waxed it for the actor. Or like there's a choice to keep it in or add it.
Let's look who did wigs on this and let's see if we can get him on the podcast.
No, we got to get Harry on the podcast.
Yeah. That'd be sick.
So like, do you?
This
think,
is, you know who this is? This is fucking Celine Dion's husband, R.I.P. Renee. He passed. Whenever you would see Renee, French Renee, you know what I'm talking about? Celine Dion's
her
husband.
Oh, you just mean that this is?
He was just like a big fat bald dude, and people were like, and it was the love of her life.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
I can't wait till we actually get the actor on, and we're like, you're like that big fat bald Celine Dion husband.
And he would be
That's
like,
that's probably like what the casting is. Like,
No, that is what the casting is. You're right.
they're like Celine Dion's husband, Renee, only doesn't speak French.
Yeah. Do you think people like Harry because they like Harry, or do you think people like Harry because of who Harry enables Charlotte to become?
I think that
She's like already. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Corey. She's like already starting to like change, like loosen up a little bit.
I think that they like him because he is who he is. Like he's himself unapologetically, and even when he's like,
That's really good for Charlotte. Like he is the opposite of Trey in every way.
and he's also just like, I'm crazy around you. Like he's even like, I'm not myself, but he's enough himself that he can even admit that he's not himself. That
Wouldn't
makes
you
sense.
say this could be wrong? I'm just throwing this out there. Let's see if it sticks. But
Like Howard Schultz.
Howard, okay, let's just throw it. No, he seems like the first male character that has no mystique at all. Because even Steve, it's like, oh, what's up with the Steve guy?
Yeah.
And maybe Aiden is like, okay, what you get is what you get. But it's like, it's always like, who actually is big, or like who is Richard?
Yeah.
Like trying to figure out who those people are. And this guy, it's like, who he is
He's
within.
just Harry. He's just sweaty. He's got
fucking
bagels.
hairy.
He's in his office.
He's like, fuck that. He swears like a lot, which, when
You think there's going to be a spinoff where Steve's mom and Harry go on some sort of adventure?
Steve's mom, I just found this out, is Ben Stiller's mom.
Oh, really?
It's Ann Mira.
That's Ann Mira?
Yeah. It's Ann Mira and Jerry Stiller. Jerry! You know George Costanza's dad?
Of course.
That's her?
Yes.
Really?
That's what, unless Lindsay Schramm, our Instagram follower and personal friend from college, is wrong. But yeah, Ben Stiller's mom.
Interesting.
Drunk Steve's mom. So yes, I love Harry. I love where we're going with it. And I'm glad they left it up to the imagination because it's like, you can't film ugly sex and say it's good. It's either good or it's ugly in TV. And they were smart. They're like, we're not showing this, but it was good.
I want to know. I want to know if we get to see some Harry and Charlotte sex.
Yeah, I don't know if you can film ugly sex and have it be good, because then the second people, like, that's not how sex works.
We got to see it right afterward.
I think Harry's probably a furry. He's going to come out in like a badger uniform.
No, he just is a badger uniform. He just already has it on. She's like, "Are you a furry?" He's like, "No, I'm just me. I'm just me."
All right, let's do a Cosmo rating and put a bow on this one. This was quite the adventure.
This was quite the adventure.
This was like a train ride across the country.
Yeah.
Cosmo rating in
3, 2, 1,
2.5.
You did 2.5? Right in the half.
2-2.
Yeah, we did 2.
Okay.
Mr. Cory.
You know, I'll go first. It was not a great episode. It was kind of all over the place. Anytime they get out of New York, it's just really hard to nail it. I'm maybe being too nice, but which is the thing that I struggle with just in all aspects of life. But I think that we got some good insights out of it. Like we got the Mr. Big insights. The dog thing was goofy. Mr. Winkles. But like we got another side of the Mr. Big coin, even if he just kind of like flipped back on it the next morning. And we got good stuff with Harry. Like I think Charlotte, even the scene they slept together was like a little cheesy, and like the theme was very like all over the place with the bachelor thing. But I feel like it wasn't a great episode, but you got some good things that are like a couple gold nuggets amongst a bunch of dusty rubble. That's what I think this episode was.
I gave it 2.0. I had an extremely, one of the lower scores I've ever given, and one of the most fun I've had watching an episode just to be back, glad to have Harry back. Harry back.
Nice. I'm bringing Harry back.
Yeah. I don't know what else. The one thing that I did like, I like Mario Cantone's I'll never be that, but it's like that's how I would like to be. He's Harry too. He's like, I am who I am. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like he's the one that's like telling people like, get out of your head. Like, you know what you want.
Yeah.
And I really, really, really like Mario Cantone. It's like to be able to play things that over the top and have it be realistic.
Yeah.
Is such like a talent.
Yeah.
Because it's like the energy he has on screen. It's like if that's anyone else doing that, you're like, chill. And it's like just more of that. I would love more him. So that was fun. And I just thought the Charlotte thing was like pretty interesting and good. And good to see our friend Kristen having a great storyline.
I think I gotta go. The reason I went with 2 Cosmos is just this episode felt really incomplete. Like the fact that Samantha's storyline didn't really have anything other than her like trying to go to a bachelor party and just not having Miranda in it at all. Like those are 2 key elements that I think you need in this show for it to feel really awesome. And so there was great stuff. The Charlotte stuff is like really starting to pick up some steam. The scene where like she kicks Harry out of the bedroom, like Kristen Davis like did an incredible job in that scene. Her acting was spot on. Can
I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did you think that she had, when she was like, you're just a good fuck, do you think she had tears in her eyes or not? They didn't play it like too obvious, but I was like, is she like kind of like, I'm doing this to someone that I think I care about, or is that too early? Or
it was too early for me, but
I want to go back and watch it because I thought, okay, go ahead.
It was like there were a lot of good elements to it. It just wasn't the final product. Wasn't there for me. So anyway, this was a super fun episode. As you said, watching that episode with you guys was like one of the most. It was very fun. It was so fun.
We didn't talk about it at all in this episode, but having Molly Shannon back in was so fun and funny.
Oh yeah,
she's
so good,
so incredible and amazing.
Same with Mario Cantone, like palpable energy.
They're both so funny.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We have 283 ratings on iTunes and thousands of listeners. So we would love, if you have not rated us,
please rate us.
Go ahead on. Hey, can you pull up the iTunes real quick?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Lexiful is the last person that gave us
I'll pull it up.
a 5-star.
I'll pull it up.
And if you throw us up a rating, we're going to read it on the air. We're going to tell you, listen, we're going to reward you. We want you to feel that shout out. If you just want to go with the rating, that's fine. Or if you want to give us a review, whatever you put. If you say Howard Schultz, I'll have a Howard Schultz drink, please. That'll be for us and you and just the listeners to know. No one at iTunes will know that is X-rated.
Yeah, there's some schmaltz in my Schultz. Also, go to our Patreon.
We're getting new apps.
New apps. Get some good new apps on our Patreon.
It's gonna be. We're gonna try and bring some hot content over there. Some goofs, some gaffs.
Yeah. Check us out. Anyway, we love you guys.
Hey. Huh? Ash M Long 6
new rating.
What'd she say?
One Cosmo.
She says, I love this podcast. They don't crap on the show. They actually watch it and try to learn from it.
That's right.
And they're hilarious. 5 Cosmos.
Yeah!
Asham Long, 6. Thank you.
Dab.
Deb.
Boom. Thank you so much.
Thank a lot.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
The Bradshaw Boys stars Cory Cavin, Jon Sieber, and Kevin James Doyle. The show is produced by Jeremy L. Balon. For more information on the guys, check out their website at bradshawboys.com, on social media at The Bradshaw Boys, and if you see them in the street, tip your glass. Thanks for listening.